Within the past couple of days, we've seen wages start to rise to some of their highest levels in the past decade. At the same time, there are labour shortages that continue right throughout business. Now, this is putting pressure on those businesses to not only create those new jobs, but also to try and find the much-needed workers. And that's where HR platforms, including Deel, come into play. I spoke with its Global Chief Executive, Alex Bouaziz, just a little earlier.
Unemployment rate right now is at 3.5% in Australia, right? Like, it's one of the lowest it's ever been, right? And when you're looking for very specialized talents like engineering or creatives, sometimes it's hard to hire in Australia, right? And in a 30 miles radius. So a lot of companies are thinking about the global hiring strategy, right? Where can they hire the best talent in the world? And that's where we play our part as well.
Okay, so Australia in the last little while has released a migration review that says that it's going to now change the way in which it looks for new migrants based on skills, based on the areas that Australia needs to fill those vacancies. The question is, are those people easily available in other parts of the world, in energy transition, for engineers, for those specialised people that Australia desperately needs as well?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are, right? And they're also looking to, migrate to a country like Australia where there's a lot of opportunities. So for sure, I mean, we've helped so many companies hire into different countries, and workers migrate to countries like the UAE, for example, where the policy is very welcoming for highly skilled workers. And I think Australia needs doctors, needs engineers, and this is a great way to bring the best of the best to the country.
Okay, so take me to the UAE, because it has been highly attractive to people, including even from Australia, to go there for a period of time. They basically make money, they make good money, they don't pay a whole bunch of tax. So is taxes and the level of payment, is that the pure incentive for people to get there?
I mean, it depends where you're from, right? So some countries, developing countries, having a chance to move to the UAE or Australia is just change of lifestyle, which is great. If you're coming from, where I'm from in France or maybe even Portugal, there's been a lot of countries in the last few years during COVID that actually tried to attract the best workers in the world, right? The most talented people. I think Portugal, for example, has a very interesting setup for people to migrate, and I think a 30% tax rebate. And similarly, France has actually a really nice tax rebate if you move back into the country. So I do think there's an interesting play here where, there was a reshuffling of talent over the last few years, and I think it's very interesting for Australia to position themselves as a great country to bring the best people and give them incentives to.
So have you thought about this? The skills shortages all around the world came after COVID. Now, at that time, everybody said, oh, well, all the talent went home, and then they stayed home. But it seems as though the skills shortages are in America, they're in Europe, they're in Australia, they're in the UAE. So if everybody just went home, right, there'd be no skills shortages. So what happened there?
Well, I think in general, going home during COVID was a big thing for us, and we actually helped a lot of companies keep their talent when they went home, right? That's the basic of Deel, helping you hire people globally. So that was actually one of the great ways we were able to scale. I think generally, at the end of the day, there is countries that are focused on helping, let's say, engineers. I think Colombia is investing over the next few years, training for over 10,000 people to become great computer science engineer. And I think it's important to be able to tap into a bigger network as you have a bigger ecosystem of companies, right? Like if you think of the Valley and Silicon Valley, there's a lot of great engineers, but it's not enough for the number of companies that want to build there. So being able to leverage additional countries' resources, and rather than immigrate them, also, maybe they can stay in their countries and work with them. That's also a great way to solve that problem.
It's really good to have you in the program today. Many thanks for your time. Alex Bouaziz from Deel.com.
Yes, thank you so much.